What's up, everybody? I am the Architect 04,
And I'm Lum.
and you're riding shotgun with the Zooka Bros.
All right, so today we're gonna be talking about anime, right?
Yep, we're gonna go over what we love. We're gonna talk about what we're watching now, what we have seen, our tops.
Oh, yeah.
Honorable mentions.
Oh, yeah.
Maybe you might hear something on stuff you've never heard of,
Right.
and if
Some
so,
animes.
go give it a look because we
Hey.
loved it. Obviously, I'm sure we'll give each other some new
yeah.
things to look into and watch.
For sure. And go ahead and tell us in the comments below what your favorite anime was, because we love to hear that. You know, we love that interaction with you guys. So go ahead and let us know. And let's start with you. Go ahead, list off your first five that your top five for me.
So we're gonna start with top fives. My top five all time. We're gonna start number one with Dragon Ball Z.
Oh, Dragon Ball.
Dragon Ball Z, yeah, it was.
such a
I mean, it was a
great
big
anime.
part. It was a big part of my childhood. You know, coming home from school,
Oh, yeah.
throwing on some Dragon Ball Z, spending an hour watching
Right.
Dragon Ball Z after school.
Oh, yeah.
It was what I did. It was my daily routine. That was my church. It was a great. The story was great. The characters were great. I mean, a lot of people bag on Dragon Ball Z because it took Goku, 4 or 5 episodes to make a spirit bomb, right? But
but when he did, I mean, goodness.
and Goku's still out there
That's what I'm saying.
killing it.
I mean, he's not just, you know what I'm saying?
So that's number one.
Dragon Ball.
Number 2 on my list is Gurren Lagann. I don't know if this is I want it's a more popular. There's some people that probably still haven't.
Right. I feel like
Maybe
it's
fringy.
a little.
It's a little fringy.
Yeah.
Not everybody's super top, but it carries an amazing message.
Really?
For a short.
I've never watched it like that. So you have watched it.
I have. I've actually
You've
seen
watched
it
the entire season. Yeah.
I've watched both. I think there's like 2 or 3 seasons, but I've watched the whole thing through twice, at least. Great. The message overall, the artwork is amazing. Overall, probably again, this is why I made my top 5.
Right.
Number 3 on that list, and I think you'll agree with me on this one, is One Punch Man.
Oh yeah, One Punch Man definitely up there.
Oh, it's amazing.
One of the 2 best main characters, I feel like, in an anime. Definitely gives you a lot of satire like vibes.
Right.
You know, it's not an anime you watch if you want serious anime vibes. You know, It's an anime you watch when you want to laugh.
Yeah, it's definitely
I mean,
definitely funny. I mean, the guy's so overpowered that he can kill anything with one punch. Hence his name, One Punch Man.
But he can't kill a mosquito.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
And it's hilarious. I mean, it's
very
just
funny.
I mean, his shirt, his sweater throughout the series.
Oh yeah.
It's we're not going to give anything else away. We're going to
yeah.
let you guys go and take a look.
If you haven't watched
if you
One
haven't
Punch,
seen it, yeah.
Definitely watch One Punch. It's a series that everyone should get into, I feel like.
For sure. Okay, so my number 4 is going to be My Hero Academia.
Yeah.
Again, the message is really good. The artwork's phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
The overall storyline, it carries the arcs are there. Everything that makes a good anime is there. And there's their filler is not even is still interesting.
Right.
And still wants.
And it makes
me want to watch.
It's a very heroic anime. So if you love the Avengers and you love very Americanized type of heroes, then I feel like you're gonna if you haven't gotten into anime yourself, start with My Hero.
My Hero's
because
good,
that one will very much it'll get you right into anime for sure.
Right. So
especially with those heroes.
Off of that, my number 5 was actually what got me into watching more anime, which was Attack on Titan.
Right.
The first again, this is going to be it's more serious. It's a little more gory, definitely a lot more adult.
100% more gory.
For sure. I mean, and right now they're on their final season, which I think is their 4th season.
Right.
And they're wrapping that up now, so I'm currently watching that as it comes out. But fantastic. I mean, the artwork. It's a little bit different on the artwork, not your traditional, super cartoony stuff. It's a little more realistic, and again, more on the heavy adult end of things.
Yeah,
not so much with the explicit sexual stuff, but just violence,
very
and gore,
violent,
super violent. Yeah. But really good overall. The storylines are just
tells a really insane story.
Yeah,
for sure.
And especially when it comes into this last season, man. This last season, and I'm not gonna give anything away, but this last season, they really are putting the bow on it, and you know, it's the perfect period to the end of the season, the series in general.
Right.
So that's my top five.
Top five?
What about you? What are your top fives?
So if I'm ranking top fives, right, I would go with my number one all time. Started when I was a kid, super nostalgic, and that's what I'm gonna rank these as for myself. It has to do with what I got into first, because those I feel like set the tone for my anime journey. So number one would be Naruto. Naruto was it just had very good values in the beginning, and then led on into the Shippuden and other series that Naruto started. But just, you know, the values and honestly some of the action scenes for me is what made that series. So, and then obviously it was my first anime growing up. That's just going to be number one for me. Number two is going to be One Piece. Absolutely one of the best animes I have ever watched.
It is amazing.
People will say the art style's I don't care for the art style.
It's one of the longest running animes.
And it is.
And that's the thing is, a lot of people, if you try to start from the beginning, obviously it's gonna be that Dragon Ball, your original Dragon Ball.
Right.
And One Piece came out around the same time.
Right.
Their art styles, obviously it's old. You know, they didn't have the digital stuff to make it nice and crisp, and the lines
this
and everything
is your
look really good, and the
early
colors pop.
Toonami days.
Oh, for sure.
When Cartoon Network just came out with Toonami, I can remember it now. I was a kid in my friend's house. One Piece just came on, you know, and honestly, as a kid, I'm not too excited because the anime didn't catch me back then. You know what I mean?
Sure.
Just because of that art style. Now, when I got older, getting back into One Piece, it definitely, I feel like it made me appreciate the anime a little more than just.
And to see the progression and evolution of the art over the years, over the decades,
that's another thing. If you've watched it now and you started from the beginning when they did start, and then you've gotten into some of the earlier episodes now, the art style is just completely different. And I mean, there are elements that are the same, but
I mean, as it should, because you're not you know, these artists aren't gonna reinvent the wheel. They're not gonna fix something that isn't broke.
Of course not.
It's a great I mean, their arcs, again, like I said, you know, with the ones that I have, the stories and the arcs are there. The only one gripe that I personally have with One Piece is their filler. Their filler is not,
it's a lot.
It's not memorable.
Now you have to think. Yeah, it's not. But a lot of the times he was just writing filler to get to that next, you know what I mean, arc.
Sure. No, and I get that.
And you have to, and even then, I feel like maybe it wasn't so much the writer, but other writers that were trying to fill in.
If we're being honest, Dragon Ball suffered from the same thing. Dragon Ball had the filler episodes.
The filler episodes.
And I mean, it was standard. It was that kind of standard in these older running animes.
Filler
they have those fillers that aren't. They're not.
They don't really
not canon. They don't fit anywhere. It's just hey, let's go to the market and have a whole,
if you watch
15-minute episode of them
it
running
means
through
something,
a market for no reason.
Right. If you watch it, it means something to you, then that's what they wanted.
Yeah, for sure.
But yeah, it really didn't add anything to the story. So I will say that was one of the downfalls for One Piece. And it was a lot of episodes, so you had a lot of filler. Number 3 would be One Punch. I feel like we had that in the same spot right there. Number 3, One Punch. Very good anime. I don't have to go any more on it. We already talked about it. It's great. Satire wise.
The only reason it only made the list at 3 was strictly because there's not enough of it out right now.
Right. It's a very early anime.
Not to mention, it's just taking them so long.
But I mean,
between seasons,
long. I don't want this to be a Cyberpunk 77 release. I want them to take their time.
No, for sure.
Perfect the anime.
But at the same time,
continue.
It has jumped studios. It's not the
Of
same
course.
studio that's making it.
Which
so
is, again, we have to think about that. Like, is it going to continue to hold the weight that it holds as it continues to blossom? But number 3, definitely solid One Punch. Number 4 for me, DBZ. As your number 1, for me, it didn't hold a very big place in my heart, but at the same time, it did. It was super nostalgic. I watched it as a kid growing up.
Sure.
I would say it had very good lessons. Filler was one of the downfalls, but even still, the filler was good when you watched through it.
For sure.
So yeah, DBZ would be number 4 for me. Number 5, last place would be, and I won't even count this as last place because it's one of the best animes I feel like that has aired in our lifetime. But Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood.
That's amazing.
Amazing.
The only word to describe it. Really.
There's really nothing else to describe it as.
Yeah.
It holds.
I mean, two brothers that are trying to find their way back to where they came. Things went horribly wrong, and it's their journey of discovering themselves because they're still children,
right?
And trying to get things. They just want to be right again,
right?
And that's their whole story. It was. Their journey was awesome. It was
amazing.
There's hands down. So now Brotherhood is a shortened, condensed version of the original Full Metal Alchemist. So it's not, if you've watched the Full Metal Alchemist in its original form and then Brotherhood, it's obviously the same story. They just condense it, kind of like Dragon Ball Z Kai.
Yeah.
Where with Kai they just took Dragon Ball Z down and they condensed all the fluff and they just took all the extra stuff that wasn't really needed and condensed it.
Go ahead, watch Full Metal Alchemist in its full.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You know what I mean, if you want to. But Brotherhood was definitely I feel like the pinnacle for it. It hit its best streak there. A lot of people were watching it at the time that it dropped, and even afterward. Honestly, there's a lot of people who watch it still. But if you haven't watched anime and you're just getting into it, I feel like that's one of the ones to definitely start after to put on your list.
So let's say if you have somebody that's never seen an anime before,
right?
What would be your number 1 pick gateway anime?
Gateway anime number 1, I would always have to go with Naruto for me. It was the perfect anime for me to get into at the time, and I feel like it has a very slow and it has a very fast cycle. So whereas like the beginning of Naruto, if you're just watching Naruto, it's going to be very slow. They're going to hit the tuning exams. You're going to want to hit them so fast, but there's a lot of filler in it. Got to get through it. Once you get to Shippuden, which is the second half of Naruto, it's so much better. They're older. Naruto comes back. There's a lot more that you've been waiting for, and they explain it all. There's a lot less filler. It's a lot more to the point. So I feel like that's a good one.
In my experience, I have only seen bits and pieces of Naruto. I've never actually seen it beginning to end and seen it all the way through. But what I have seen, it was okay. It was okay. It just didn't. I guess it just wasn't fast enough for me. It didn't progress enough, and for me personally, for my liking. Not to say that it wasn't good. It's not that it wasn't good, because it is good,
very good.
And as the story did progress,
once you get to Shippuden, really, it's way better. And every single Naruto fan will tell you that once you get to Shippuden, it's way better. But you have to watch Naruto in order to get you can't just watch Shippuden, because you're gonna be like, what? Why? Yeah. Who are these people? Why did they come here?
Right.
Like, why? How did they get to where they're at? But definitely, I agree with that.
All right, so for you would be Naruto would be your number 1 gateway. If I had to pick, so my history with anime in general is, obviously I watched Dragon Ball Z as a kid after school. That was the only anime up until probably about 6 or 7 years ago. So we'll say, from the early 2000s to the late 2010s. It was around
95 or something that Dragon Ball and Pokemon and everything dropped.
Right. So if we're saying that, so the late 90s to early 2000s, up until the late 2010s, like we'll say 2017, 15 or 16 maybe, was the time that I started watching anime again.
Right.
And I think the first one that I watched to get me back into anime, or into anime in general, was Attack on Titan. That was the one. Somebody recommended it to me. I was like, you know what, I'll give it a watch. I'll give it a try and see.
I recommended.
It may have been.
It might have been during our Jimmy John's days.
It could have been you. It may have been one of the other guys. But either way, they said, listen, Attack on Titan, you gotta at least just give it the first episode. If you don't like the first episode, then don't even bother. You know, whatever. So I sat and I watched the first episode of Attack on Titan. And I'm like, oh my god, I didn't know you could do this with animation. You could that there were animations.
I'm pretty sure it was me because during that time I was watching Attack on Titan religiously, and and I stopped watching it because I was already caught up.
Yeah,
and
then not to mention,
I started reading it after
from episode 1. It grabs you and doesn't let go, and you're just like, oh my god, I have to know what happens.
Right.
And the good thing of the crazy thing with anime is that they have such a wide ability to pretty much give you whatever story that you want.
Right.
Or you know what I mean? Like there's so many variation. Like if you like your basic, rom-coms, romantic comedies, they have them.
Oh yeah,
and they're animated, and they can make it about anything.
Oh, they have their food animes, they have their romantic animes, they have their action animes,
thriller animes,
like
some honorable mentions. Obviously, so Attack on Titan is going to be my gateway for anybody that is curious or is like, hey, let me give it a shot.
Right.
It popped up on their Hulu feed somewhere or whatever.
Right.
Watch it, 100% watch it.
Yeah.
But some honorable mentions for me that it didn't really make the top 5, but I think that people should know about would be Death Note. It's a classic.
Great.
If you like thrillers and you like,
not a lot of filler, but the filler that is there, it doesn't take you out of the story.
Well, no, I'm thriller. It's a thriller.
I'm talking about filler.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know you're talking about thriller. I'm saying the filler in it,
but not doesn't not Michael Jackson thriller.
Okay.
Anyways,
whatever. I don't know what he's talking about. Don't worry about filler in the episode. It's not going to take you out of it.
So Death Note, there's so many. I'm in the middle of watching Soul Eater. Mm-hmm. That's another good one.
Very good. Tokyo Ghoul. I would
Tokyo
say.
Ghoul.
Very good mention. It also depends on the anime that you're trying to watch. If you want a action anime, there's different anime we can point you to. If you want a gory anime, there's definitely
Berserk.
Berserk.
Berserk is extremely gory.
I can't think of it off the top of my head. I'd have to look it up real quick. But one of my favorite gory anime. It starts with a G, I feel like. Gantz. If you haven't watched Gantz, go watch Gantz. Gaunts. Gantz. And now there's a Gantz 2.0 that was released on Netflix, but watch the original because it gives you the backstory, and it's the most gory anime I've ever watched.
That's definitely one I have not seen. And I haven't seen, but I have seen Overlord. Now Overlord's not gory, but it is a lot like another one which I almost for some reason just blanked on it, but it was Sword Art Online.
Oh, so
SOA.
SAO.
SAO. So Sword Art Online, the first season, amazing.
Right.
Second season was...
I loved it.
It was good.
It was good.
I felt it didn't carry the same amount of action. It was kind of the same story. And then
all three of them were.
And then season 3 was Gun Gale Online.
Right.
Which was...
GG Air.
Yeah.
Something like that.
So Gun Gale Online was really good. I enjoyed that one. It gave a little bit of a flair to the same story. I mean, again, it was the same storyline more or less,
Yeah, he had a lightsaber. And
spoilers,
but
they spiced it up. They spiced it up. But then they brought the 4th season, which you probably haven't even heard of, but it was Sword Art Online Alicization.
I heard a little bit about it.
Okay, so I finished that series. I just recently finished it.
Right.
Because they just finished releasing it. I was watching that as it was coming out. They just recently completed it, and that one definitely brought new life back to Sword Art Online.
I'll have to check it out.
Yes, you do. It was really good. It was really good, and because they definitely changed the story up. Obviously, it was still based around the like cyber realm.
Okay.
And obviously
GGA.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no,
that's where they left off.
It's fantasy. It was fantasy. It's a fantasy base, but instead of playing an RPG essentially, it was more along the lines of a real-time strategy MMO.
Okay.
Sort of.
I'll have to watch it.
You have to watch it.
Yeah.
Really good.
It's really interesting. Good. And if you, any of you out there who think it's interesting, definitely go watch it. I feel
for sure. Yeah, give it a watch. Give it a look. I mean, I'm sure we could go on for hours and hours on more. I mean, there's so many more that I have. JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Oh man, I can't even. Digimon, honestly. If we're going into
Digimon.
early, like just any anime, Digimon, Pokemon. You know, we talked about DBZ a little bit.
Neon Genesis.
Neon Genesis.
Evangelion was a really good one. Aikido.
I never watched Aikido.
It was really good. Yeah. Cowboy Bebop.
Oh, and animes. Any Studio Ghibli movie. Watch those.
Yeah.
Spirited Away and
Princess Mononoke.
And yeah.
Oh yeah, for
great
sure.
movies.
100%. So well, I guess this is where we're gonna call it.
It's gonna be an early one tonight.
Yeah, we're running a little pressed for time, but that's okay because we can pick this up later. Trust me, we can talk for hours and hours about anime and what we like, but try not to give any spoilers away. But we're gonna end up doing it. Because,
absolutely.
Yeah, it is what it is.
We love it.
But anyways, if you guys enjoyed us rambling on about this stuff, or you give some of these things a watch, let us know. Sir. Yeah, let us know what you thought of it. If you hated it, if you hate listening to us, let us know.
Hit it in the comment section below. We love you guys. We'll talk to you guys in the next video and see you guys in the next one.
Absolutely.
We love you. Peace.
See ya.